Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Moms on a Mission podcast. It's so great to connect with you today. If you are new here, our three pillars are to educate, awake, and activate. And we can't become activated until we are awakened to the truth. And the truth of the matter is our country is under assault today. And all countries globally, we all are under assault. And we're going to have to stand up to protect our freedoms and our children. And one way we can protect our families is to invest in gold and silver. We are joined again by Andrew Sorchini from Beverly Hills Precious Metals. And Andrew today shares about what is happening globally with the BRICS nations and their new gold-backed currency and how that affects us and what can we do to stand up and protect ourselves. I think this conversation is going to be incredibly helpful and educational. Talk to your spouses and get their feedback and then listen to this podcast and then give them a shout. You can go to bh-pm.com and ask any questions you'd like. That's bh-pm.com. Welcome to the Moms on a Mission podcast, Andrew Sorchini. Hi, Andrew Sorchini. Thank you so much for joining the Moms on a Mission podcast again. How are you today?
I'm good. Thanks for having me back.
Well, thank you so much. There's a lot to talk about. I know as moms and parents and just Americans, we're so busy just doing life and getting things done in our home and with our kids. And sometimes we miss the headlines. And some of that is also intentional with mainstream media trying to keep us in the dark. And one of the things I wanted to talk about today and expose is how the BRICS nation now have expanded. And now it's called BRICS 11. And I was wondering if you could speak to that.
Oh, yeah. So they added 6 more countries to BRICS. And for people out there that might not know, originally BRICS is an acronym for Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. And now a couple of African countries and the rest are Middle Eastern countries have joined. The most notable ones are the United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia. And really, Saudi Arabia joining the BRICS nations is the death blow for the dollar because back in 1971, Nixon actually sent Henry Kissinger to Saudi Arabia to strike a deal with Saudi Arabia in that all oil purchases were going to be transacted with the US dollar, regardless of what countries are involved in the transactions. And what we had to give up in order to have that happen is that we would assure that House Assad would remain in power in Saudi Arabia and protect them. And that deal stood up until January 1st of this year.
So for the average American listening, they can hear this, and this is across the world, across the globe, and they're thinking, okay, great. Now there are 11 countries in this BRICS group. How does that impact me as a mom, as a dad, as an American going to work every day? How does that impact the average American?
Well, most of us are walking around not knowing what's coming, but this is not just the death of the US dollar, but the death of all fiat currencies. So for people out there that might not know, fiat currencies are currencies that are not backed by anything tangible. So also in 1971, when we did go off of the gold standard, that's when the United States made they created the Federal Reserve, and the Federal Reserve made the currency that we use, the paper currency. And it's really not backed by anything real. And the rest of the world followed suit as well. So it's not just the death of the US dollar, it's the death of all fiat currencies for all countries. So when BRICS was created, it's when Russia and China colluded together to create like this club that's main goal is to de-dollarize the entire globe and allow other countries to start trading in their own currencies. And this will be devastating to the dollar. And what's good is that if and when this happens, anybody that owns physical gold and silver, it's specifically gold, you're in on the ground floor. I mean, gold could go up many times over almost overnight. And that's how you can protect everything you've worked for.
I think what is so interesting in addition to that, Andrew, is that we're seeing the central bank digital currency start becoming more talked about and becoming more real here in America. We're seeing the scores on the credit cards and really at the end of the day, the goal is to have us behave in a certain way to give us access to this digital money. And I know there was a pilot study going on. Reuters exposed that a year ago, this past November. There was a pilot study in New York. And so, I mean, it has hit American soil. So I think that's really important too when you're thinking about CBDCs, that when you have physical gold and silver, there's almost a parallel economy that is going to have to be created to survive.
Yeah, it'll be similar to back in the 1920s and 1930s when you had the option to either use paper currency when you made a purchase or actual gold. So back then, it was 1933 that gold as currency was banned and actually taken away from the public. You could only keep $100 face value in gold in 1933. You were ordered as U.S. citizens to go to the banks and cash it in for the paper currency. So up to that point, you had the choice to either carry gold coins in your pocket, silver coins, or the dollar bills. Well, now it's like it's going to be similar. For a while there, we'll be using paper currency and transacting using the central bank digital currency, which it's a token. It works sort of like a cryptocurrency, but it's supposed to be backed by gold, which would actually make it the first real currency that we've had since the 1930s, really. And you would transact using your phone. So you would just take your phone out, just like you do when you if you use Apple Pay at the store, and you just run it across the reader. It'll work that way. And when you're buying things online, you probably click a button on a website, and then it'll send an alert to your phone, and then you just right click on the button, and then you make the payment, similar to Apple Pay. And what that's going to do is it's going to make it so that everyone's transactions, there's a record of them all. So like like now, if you have cash under the mattress, or if you have gold and you wanted to lend it to somebody, or if you wanted to buy something from someone like a neighbor or a friend, that's a private transaction. But in the future, as we start to wean off of the regular paper currency, everything will be visible online. And many of us as Americans feel that that's how we lose one of the biggest freedoms that we have.
Right, which is what our country was founded on, was freedom. And you can see that America is the last leg standing. And if they can shut us down, and the way to do it is attack our food supply and through our finances and our money. And the thought of being tracked and traced, it almost sounds like a movie, like this horrible movie that I would not want to be a part of. But I find it very interesting. And I was wondering, Andrew, if you could speak to this, is the people that you come across, I mean, and the average American, I believe they are serving this up as, hey, it's convenient. Hey, it'll solve problems, just like the vaccine, just like all these other things. It's teed up like it's some solution to this massive problem. And are you hearing people hearing about this? Do you think Americans are thinking, oh, CBDCs, or, oh, we're fine, we don't have a problem? Do you think most people are just kind of laissez-faire and going through life? Or do you believe Americans are waking up as to the real intention behind this plan?
Oh, I think that the younger generation is probably like, yes, let's welcome this, because they're on their cell phones all day long anyway. So they just want another reason to be able to take it out and use it. And recently I was in a car with someone where we were going to purchase a couple of boba drinks. And we went to let her out of the car, and we said, here, let me give you some cash. And she goes, oh, no, just give me the card. I don't want to touch the cash. And that's how the younger generation thinks. So as we start to get phased out and get older and we're no longer here, then this will be a whole lot more welcome. So I think that the powers that be know that there's going to be some turbulence along the way. But I think if it is gold backed, I think that'll be good. But I don't really buy that Russia and China are really partners. I think that it's more of like the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So right now it takes both of them to take down the dollar. But after that's done, I think they're going to start going at each other. So I'm going to want to own something as we go through this uncertain period that is a tangible asset. And for me, gold is it. I recently traveled abroad. I was in Dubai and Tokyo and Hong Kong, and I actually took gold with me and was trying to buy a watch. And I said, hey, how about these gold bars? And they said, no problem. They didn't really want to give me a good price for them, so I ended up not doing it, but it was more welcome than the US dollar.
That is amazing. I cannot imagine going into a Rolex store or going into some high-end watch store and offering them a gold bar. I'm pretty sure they would say no in the United States. So that's really
Oh,
wild.
yeah, they'd look at you if you pulled out a gold bar, they'd look at you like you had two heads. But
Right, right.
but
Dubai's like, hey, bring it. We'll just charge you more, but we'll take your gold.
exactly.
Wow.
We went to this area called the Gold Souk, and it's just like gold shop after gold shop after gold shop. And many of them do have the gold bars or older gold coins, and they completely get it because they've US has been on the top of the heap for so long. We don't know how tough it is for a lot of these other countries, but 25, 30 years ago, Dubai was nothing, and now it's like such a rich country, and they see the gold as currency. And also, when I was abroad, people don't welcome the US dollar like they used to. I remember 20 years ago when you travel to other countries and you pull out a wad of US dollars, people wanted them. They were like, yeah, we'll take that more than our currency because it has better buying power. And that's not the case anymore.
Well, yeah. And when you think about the money and the dollar being, the world reserve, this is just like a lot of people speak English. I mean, with the money situation, I mean, the dollar is the reserve, and to have it not be reserve, meaning it's not the standard trading, and they're not, most countries aren't going to be using it. These dollars are going to be flooded back into our country. And when you have so many excessive dollars like that, that's when de-dollarization happens. And that's when it really is not going to be worth anything.
Yeah, it's going to be devastating because even though our dollar is not backed by anything real, the way that the U.S. was able to make this happen is that they will sell bonds to other countries that do back the dollar. But the problem is that the bonds aren't really a tangible item. It's just another item that trades on the market, sort of like on the stock market. Well, if all the other countries out there that have invested in these U.S. Treasury bonds start to sell them like they have been, then someone's going to have to buy them. And since there are bonds, we will be buying them back, but at lower rates because everyone's selling them at the same time. And that's how the dollar will lose value. And historically, when the dollar loses value, then gold will gain value. So right now is a tricky time because we're in an election and a lot of these numbers are manipulated. So on a day like today, the dollar is actually up a lot. And as a result, gold is down $30 an ounce. But we know that this is artificial. This is how the current administration wants to sell that everything's okay so that Joe Biden could get reelected in November. So I don't really believe anything that we see. And besides, this isn't a time that we're really trying to make money with our investments in gold and silver. This is a time to be able to protect what you have by hedging all of your other traditional investments with something that's tangible like gold and silver.
Yeah, so I'd love for you to talk about that, Andrew. So, what is the next step here? If someone's just listening to this for the first time and like, okay, this is horrible. This is scary. It sounds very devastating. This sounds very dark. They're going to need some hope. Like, what can we do? Because I think sometimes this fear that we can get when we see what's happening around the world, it can really be paralyzing, and it can cause us to just have this cognitive dissonance where we don't want to do anything because we feel like we can't make a difference anyway. But what could folks who are hearing this today, what is something that they could do regarding gold and silver to make a difference and start protecting their families?
Yeah, it does seem like a little bit of gloom and doom, but it will turn out okay in the end. It's just we'll have to go through this gray patch before we get there. And you do have a duty to protect everything that you've worked your whole life for and to protect the finances set aside for your family. And the way to do that is to take a portion of your retirement or a portion of what you might have in the bank account and convert that into gold and silver. And you can do that by reaching out to us at bh-pm.com. So it's bh-pm.com. Right on the homepage, there's a form there. And you just put in your first name, last name, email address, phone number, how you heard about us, put Moms on a Mission. And then there's a note section. And the thing that most people put in that note section is, how can I convert my IRA or my 401k into an account that holds physical gold and silver? And that's one we see a lot. When we see that, I get you to our experts in our IRA department, and they'll help you get it converted or help you get the information that you need to be able to make that decision. But really, everything will work out great if we do go to a gold-backed central bank digital currency, and if you're physically holding gold, you're already in it. And And once you have gold, it's not this permanent, it's not like a purchase. It's a conversion of green dollars into gold or silver. And if you find yourself in a situation where you need to get those green dollars back to pay an unexpected bill or an emergency, then you just convert it back the same way you would as if you're traveling somewhere and you're using their currency and you just want to change it back into your currency.
I think that's one of the things I've heard from people is that they're saying, well, what happens if once you have it, can you sell it back? Can you get rid of it? They almost feel like they're stuck with it. And it's just because we've never done this before, some of us, so we just don't understand it. But it is amazingly simple and safe. And I thought what was really cool is some people will buy the certificates and still you have a piece of paper. I would love for you to share how bh-pm.com, Beverly Hills Precious Metals, how you're actually buying real gold and silver and that it's insured and it's tax free. You could roll over when you roll over your IRA, you're not taking it out and being penalized with taxes.
Oh yeah. So the if you roll over a 401k or an IRA into a precious metals IRA, it takes a couple of weeks to get it done usually, sometimes a few days less, could be a few days more, just depending on how quickly it takes you to liquidate what you already have in that account. And a lot of the times, if you speak with your financial advisor or whoever set up your IRA and you tell them that you want to convert into a precious metals IRA, they'll try to talk you out of it, or they'll say things like it creates a taxable event, but it absolutely does not. You can withdraw any amount out of it or even all of it. And as long as you put it into another qualified retirement account within 60 days, it's a non-taxable event. So it's important to know that. Again, they don't really want to, the custodians you might be working with, like say Schwab or any companies like that, oftentimes they don't want to see you leave. So they'll tell you anything they can to get you to keep it where it's at. But really, converting it into physical gold and silver is important because you can have that gold or silver delivered at any point. It is stored at a third-party facility, a depository, but if you wanted to have it sent home, you could do that. It just, that would be a distribution and that would be a taxable event. But some people just take a few $1,000s and have it delivered to them every single year, and that's a good way to do it. And as far as as far as setting those up, it's we can get them done pretty quickly.
Yeah, I like what you're talking about, how you can do some of your IRA, do some cash and have it balanced. And Andrew, I just think you are probably one of the first business owners I've spoken with who said, don't roll over your whole IRA. Not that you wouldn't accept that, but I think that's really paramount, that you're just suggesting a safe and broad and maybe just doing a little bit in the beginning just to kind of get used to the whole concept and try it out. I love that. I would love for you to share with our listeners how long you've been doing this, Andrew.
Oh, my first job in the coin business was back in 1985. And it was my first job for the first 9 years of my working career. And then I did a variety of other things, but still doing this part-time. And then in 2010, we made it much bigger than it's ever been. And even now, we're just so busy. But all that experience has really played into what we're doing now. And I feel we're poised to help people. I think we have the quickest way to get these IRAs done, the rollovers done. And to answer your earlier question, I wouldn't get involved in any paper, gold, or silver, because those are not investments that are tangible. So, for example, if you're investing in or in like say GLD, which is a gold paper asset, it's for each ounce of gold, there might be 100 different people that are buying that same ounce of gold. So the way that it works is sort of like if this would be familiar to you actually, if let's say you had a house that you were selling. Okay, yeah. You built a beautiful house and you wanted to sell that house, and you sold it to 100 different people for the full price with the agreement that nobody could actually live in that house. Well, that's how the paper, gold, and silver market works. It doesn't even sound real. It doesn't sound true. It doesn't sound legal, but they're oversold by more than 100 times over. So if everybody wanted to sell that house back in the same day, the funds wouldn't be there. And that's the same with the gold and silver. And it's just a house of cards.
So if somebody were to have these certificates, these gold and silver certificates, would they need to sell those back to the company and then buy gold and silver from you, or can they be transferred?
Actually, a lot of the time they would have to sell them, and then it can be transferred right out of that account to ours. And if they wanted to know more specifically how it works, they could just fill out the form and just say, hey, this is something I see a lot. We have annuities, and we want to be able to convert our annuities into precious metals. And oftentimes that means selling those annuities back and then getting gold and silver. So each situation is slightly different, but it's something that we can definitely help with.
That's great. So all they need to do is go to bh-pm.com, fill out that form. And again, if you just want a consultation, if you just want to ask some questions, that's free too. And you can just go to that website and mention that you heard about Beverly Hills Precious Metals from Moms on a Mission. And then they can help you. And it's really so great just to diversify and to protect, because this election year is going to be wild. And we're hearing from General Flynn that we are at a crossroads we've never been at before. And this is going to be incredibly volatile and absolutely crazy. And man, if we can create some stability for ourselves and our families, this is a must, and it just is good wisdom. So I really thank you, Andrew, for what you're doing. I know this is a business, but I also know it's a call of God on your life and a passion and a love and an interest of yours to not just help your own family, but to help Americans. And so I just want to say thank you. And I'm so grateful for your business, and thank you for your time today.
Well, thank you. And I hope to be back soon.
Yes, sir. And thank you all so much for listening. If you have any comments or questions, you can email us at moms@momsonamission.net. And then our website is momsonamission.net. And we'd be so honored if you followed us on Rumble. We're on all platforms, but that is one of the most uncensored platforms. So just go and download the app, and at the top, type in Moms on a Mission and then click the follow icon, and you'll be notified when all new episodes are released. Thank you again so much for listening, and have a great day. In light of recent bank volatility and skyrocketing inflation, diversification is a must. That's why I use my good friend Andrew Sorchini at Beverly Hills Precious Metals. Beverly Hills Precious Metals makes it so easy to diversify. I personally ordered some silver, and it arrived on my doorstep just a few days later. They make it so easy. And if you're not ready to do that and you just want to ask a few questions, they're there for you too. I personally got some silver and also am rolling over some of my IRA. You can actually roll over your IRA and have it be backed by silver and gold. So if you don't have any extra money to invest in silver and gold, rolling over a 401k or an IRA, or even part of it, if you just want to try it at first, just for a little bit, you can do that as well. So go to bh-pm.com today and ask all your questions. You can connect with somebody. And like I said, you can just get some information at first if you want and pray about it, and then get back with them to roll over part of your IRA or all of it, or order some gold and silver. That's bh-pm.com. and tell them that Moms on a Mission sent you. Hey, everybody. Did you know that recent research from the CDC says that millions of Americans develop parasitic infections, and symptoms often go unnoticed or are misdiagnosed? Parasites are actually the cause of many health problems such as anxiety, depression, chronic pain, fatigue, and unexplained digestive issues. We all need a common sense strategy to improve our health. Moms on a Mission encourages you to reach out to our good friend, Dr. Jason Dean. Dr. Dean's Full Moon Protocol provides all natural detoxification and fights inflammation. And the supplements are made with 100% organic ingredients and are proven to kill parasites safely and effectively. I know after I took Full Moon Protocol, I had more energy. To order your Full Moon Protocol today, go to bravetv.store/mission to save $20 off your first order. That's bravetv.store/mission. According to leading sleep experts and sleephealth.org, over 50 million Americans struggle getting a good night's rest. That's why Moms on a Mission loves MyPillow. MyPillow makes amazing pillows, sheets, mattress toppers, robes, towels, literally almost everything you need for a good night's sleep. They also make dog beds for your dogs. So by going to mypillow.com, typing in the code MISSION, you not only receive a high quality product, but you're supporting Moms on a Mission and this podcast. If you like what you're hearing and you agree with it, you believe in it, and you want to support Moms on a Mission, then go to mypillow.com today and order some high quality products, and just type in the code MISSION at checkout, and you can save up to 66% off. That's mypillow.com, code MISSION.
Since 2014, Organic Body Essentials has offered clean, simple, certified organic skincare. Our organic face-to-feet and federally compliant hemp and pet products are manufactured under USDA and FDA guidelines. Our products are inspired by God, using plants He created. In Ezekiel 47:12, it says, "The fruit is for food and the leaves for healing." We believe in the power of God to heal, so we pray over our products and for our customers. Our therapy in a bottle approach has been widely received, and our customers' testimonials continue to inspire us. You can find us at organicbodyessentials.com and obe.organicbodyessentials.com. Please feel welcome to reach out with questions. Use coupon code MISSION at checkout for a discount. Thank you for your support by using Mission at checkout to benefit moms on a mission and their quest to reestablish traditional values in our education system and empowerment for a healthy lifestyle.